Alrighty, hello. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the stream. We're going to be jumping into the Kaldvann this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning, or whatever the hell it is. Let me just make sure my audio is coming through. Yep, I'm coming through just fine. Maybe a little quieter than I want. But I guess that will do for now. Actually, I'll just turn myself up just a touch. That'll probably do a little better. So, anyways, hope you all are doing well. Happy Thursday to y'all. I was supposed to do a Carabasset stream tonight. I was painting some race cars for NASCAR, my NASCAR season that I'm doing. And I tuned into Perch Medium's Patreon call on his server. Finished up that race car, did a little cleaning, and was cleaning out because I want to move my computer stuff back into my old bedroom that I grew up in as a kid. That bedroom was later repurposed for my brother, and he used it after I got older and moved downstairs, then later moved out. And I was cleaning out the closet because I got to put my Legos up in there, and I'm packing up my model jets and going to stack them on the shelves in the closet. You know, put them in their boxes, whatever. But there's just junk all in that closet, just all sorts of shit. Like I found the costume I wore for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween 2004? 2000? No, it would have been early, like 2002. Yeah, I think it was 2002. So I would have been like 5 or no, it was like maybe it was 2004. I was like, oh crap. Sorry, steering wheel on the couch behind me fell. My gaming wheel, but something just rolled over. I'm like, the fuck is that? Anyways, but like, I was Buzz Lightyear that year, and the costume that I wore is just hanging up in the closet. And I think like the very next Halloween, I was Dale Earnhardt. So like the NASCAR tracksuit that I wore is still in the closet. Like all my brother's old clothes from when he was a kid are still in that closet. There's just all sorts of shit in that closet. You know, DVD players, books from my childhood when I was a kid, just all in that closet. Like my mom never got rid of it. I mean, granted, I didn't either, but I moved out of that room when I was. I can't remember how old I was, but I wasn't in that room. You know, I haven't really been in that room much since I moved downstairs, and I think that was in 2013 or 2012. Yeah, it was 2012 when I moved downstairs, 2011. So I would have been just pushing into high school, so I haven't really been in that room since I was maybe in eighth grade. And I've been out of high school for about 8 years now. So it's been over a decade since I've really like gone through that room. And I was cleaning, and you know, I was getting kind of frustrated because my mom, she just never really let go of anything. Oh, she let the house go. And this big giant DVD player comes tumbling out of the closet and just, and I mean big giant. It was fucking huge, heavy too. Just came tumbling out of the closet and just planted itself right on the middle of my left foot. So said a bunch of choice words, did a little dance around the hallway and stuff, and I said, you know, I'm gonna go lay down and nurse that for a little bit, and well, here we are today. So, but anyways, so I woke up, kind of just feeling like shit. So I said, you know what? I was supposed to do a Carabasset stream. I don't really want to get into that because I'm not gonna be up long. I do want to do some, you know, just get something on the channel, because it'll be about a week since I last streamed. So I want to get something on the channel. You know what? I'll just go ahead stream Kaldvann. I shouldn't, but we're here. I'm doing it anyways. I have been working on the Carabasset, trying to get the transfer station kind of done up and touched up. But I will hopefully keep saying I'm going to stream it, and I just don't. I work on it, but I don't stream it. But for, you know, at least the meantime, but for the meantime, we'll work on Kaldvann. So we're here. We're back in Kaldvann. We're in here in, I think this is Krigerehavn, or Krigerehavn? Krigerehavn. I forgot how to say that word, or the town name. But we're kind of revamping the towns a little bit. I'm going to turn down the draw distance so my computer doesn't continue to sound like a jet engine spooling up for takeoff. Oh, I was a little sad without the full entirety of the mountain. There you go. So you can at least see it from over here. But yeah, so we're here in Krigerehavn, kind of redoing the port. We're talking with Felix Flusy. For some of you might know him by that name. Flusy737, I think his train's username is. He's built some phenomenal routes. I think Crawford Hill. He was working on like a 1940s kind of like a East Coast style, like Northeast Corridor-esque route. He's also working on a Mexican route, like Port of Veracruz. The dude is phenomenal at building ports. It's things he's seen, and he works on the railroad, but he's very incredible at what he does. He's utterly incredible. And so I've been looking at some of his port scenes, and I kind of showed him things I've been, or I don't know. I felt very compelled to change my port around because I also felt that the original port we had, which had a seawall come off here, it was basically like just this container section, and that was the whole port. And this is supposed to be a pretty major port for Kaldvann. This is mostly a import harbor, so a lot of stuff getting imported comes out of or comes into here. Particularly, the main goods that will come into this harbor are gasoline, kind of fuels and stuff like that. So I guess the Golden State Warriors lost by 39 to Memphis. Talking with Ethan. I don't know anything about basketball. Didn't even know Memphis had a team. Anyways. Yeah, so gasoline, diesel, home heating oil, or, stuff like that. But a lot of gasoline does come into this harbor. So this is kind of the main port for that. There'll be more tanks kind of scattered around for storage purposes. As each ship has a different thing. There'll also be a small, I believe, I'm going to probably put a smaller kind of port, maybe over here, but that'll be for jet fuel, because originally I was going to have the airport, and if, by the way, this stream ends and my computer blue screens, Windows 11 and 19 just don't like each other, or something, because this is the only program that blue screens my computer. But originally for the airport, I was going to have it be rail served, and the jet fuel would come into the airport. Maybe I still will, but considering there's the harbor right next door, and they already have oil coming in and out, I think it would probably be smarter for the jet fuel to be delivered via ship, and then it can be piped over to the airport, or the storage tanks for the facility could be here, and then so on and so forth. Actually, I don't really think I could put a harbor over here. A lot of islands, and it kind of naturally has a safe harbor area, especially, if the islands are surrounding it. But especially, with this island here, it could block some of the wind, but I think maybe I'll just put it over, maybe just right here. I don't know. Wait and see. But yeah, so I'm hold on. Gonna yawn first. So, but a lot of gasoline, like I said, a lot of that comes in jet fuel. A lot of the country's grain and wheat, grain. A lot of the grain comes in via this port. There are a few other ports around the country, particularly also over in Narvik, the port of Castine. That's another big port. Trondheim does have its own harbor. Each port kind of specializes in a lot of things, but a lot of the grain for particularly this end of the country does come in via this harbor. So I do have some larger silos kind of set up. I just need to figure out how I want them set up, where I want them to go. A lot of, excuse me, a lot of bulked goods or bulk goods come in also. They kind of come and go from here. So it'll be like a bulk area right here, and a lot of the fish processing for the commercial fishing industry is also over here in this part of the country. There'll be a large fish processing plant either on this pier itself and or kind of back up over here by the highway. It's one of many fish processing plants around the country, as seafood is, or the fishing industry is, one of the staples to the economy alongside oil drilling and so on and so forth. Then obviously we have container port, both imports, exports kind of come out through here. But predominantly speaking, this is a import harbor, and so on and so forth. So I will show you guys real quick what we have been up to elsewhere. Maybe I'll start here at the airport. So, excuse me. One of the big things, if you recall from my upgrading to 19 stream, was the textures here at the airport were kind of corrupted. It was all grass, so I've mostly, except for maybe an area or two, have put in all the asphalt back to the airport, gone with this nice kind of freshly blackened look, kind of fresh pavement. I prefer this look over anything else, so it just looks nice, keeps the airport looking clean. Went through and just re-added basic asphalt texture, kept some grass on the border so it's not all just one big concrete slab. I also did a little work down here, and this was annoying. I put entrances all the way down. My cat is meowing at me. What? You have not really slept all day, so why don't you go do that? Because you drive me crazy, and you have been all day. I put entrances all the way down. No, Toby, go away. I'm sick of you. No, I'm sick of you. I'm done with the meowing. Sorry, I had the windows open all day, and that's all he's done is just meow at me because he wants to go outside. I'm not sure what this. Oh, I was looking at office buildings because I want to have, because we got the big parking garage, and I was gonna just make this a big kind of just flat parking lot. I'm like, that's gonna be annoying. Gonna make it a bus station. Couldn't find the right asset. Got the executive terminal kind of retouched back up, so that's kind of coming along. One thing I did also do was the freight line that previously was running alongside the runway is now gone. The freight line will no longer kind of come through here. Instead, how that will work is the freight line will come kind of more alongside the mountain, and then the freight line will then link up with or come over the highway, and then it's going to link up with the passenger line over here. So there'll be kind of a big junction, so on and so forth, and then the two will begin sharing tracks as they pass through here. A big Y for the station. There'll be a small kind of junction area, then there'll be a smaller Y, and then it will go into a double main as it comes closer to the bridge, and so on and so forth. Have to have another crossover and such because the tracks will diverge here. One track will go off to the left to go towards Narvik and other coastal regions, and of course this heads over towards Hasvik and will link around on the southern road, which You've all seen that. So it's just this little town over here. Nothing too major. That's not the town I wanted. I think it's Narvik. Oops. I gotta switch that. What is your name? There we go. Ah, perfect. So of course, the Hasvik Transportation Center. Y'all know that one. The actual town of Hasvik. I don't think I've done too much over here. I really haven't done anything over here, so nothing's changed on this end of the spectrum. I did put a field in. I did also add more water. Kind of roughed out some of the coastline, needs to be more appropriately touched up, so on and so forth. Sending the water outward. One thing I did do was I added a ton of baseboards to kind of go through the final sections of the secondary island. Which you can kind of see its outline here. Of course, that's not all finalized. Once I add water around it, I'll see how the coast looks and see if it makes sense. I'm planning on this kind of being mostly a lava plain. We'll wait and see. We will definitely wait and see. And as we zoom in here, I've been working pretty extensively on the actual port of Trondheim. Trondheim itself, over there. So to get an understanding of what's going on here, so this is the industrial branch that kind of comes through Nyhavn, Nyhavn, or New Harbor. This is a district on this end over here, which basically just means Old Harbor, New Harbor. This is the New Harbor. So New Harbor will be kind of situated along here. Or maybe it's actually going to be down here. I think it would make more sense to be down here. We'll wait and see how that works out. But there will be an industrial park kind of along through here, and so on and so forth. So, actually, I think New Harbor, the actual port itself, might be over here for the containers. Again, we'll wait and see. But this industrial branch will come off the tracks over here, which I need to kind of figure out an area for a freight rail yard for the region, because there's really no rail yard on this island. And I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want that to go. I could put it more towards the actual kind of peninsula. There'll be another town over there. But I feel like this area should have a rail yard. So I'm thinking the freight rail line continues up this way. And maybe somewhere kind of more in the middle there'll be a rail yard of some sort. Because a city this size needs to have something. But this industrial line kind of comes through here. Of course, there'll still be a lot of active industries, a couple of fish processing plants, so on and so forth. Had to give it a little bit of a wall kind of coming through. Comes down the grade. Now this isn't a very highly used section of line anymore, but it's still here. You have this cool swing bridge, which is protected by a searchlight. You have this nice swing bridge that spans the Delva, or the Nina Delva. very, very nice bridge. I think this is an SAP model. I've been whoring myself out, SAP swing bridge, whoring myself out to SAP as of late. Just great models, especially for 19. But the swing or the span comes across this point here on the mainland, or the main part of the island. Nice little. Oh, sorry. Sound like a 13-year-old. My voice keeps cracking with these allergies. Comes across this little bridge here. Then it comes on to the old port, which originally I had houses kind of coming through this way. I've since changed that. Building is kind of back up here. This will be a parking lot for kind of that little small housing area. The tracks are labeled as exempt, so I don't know. I just kind of like this right here. You know, looking at the crossbuck exempt, it's faded out, and then you got the seawall right there with the lighthouse and the this kind of smaller lighthouse. It's just a very nice scene. But the tracks come along. Got the small beach. This is actually Founders Beach. This is where the island technically would have been founded and settled. Is right here, but you have the tracks that come along the beachfront. And then they dead end here at the harbor. There's no rail serve to this harbor. The tracks are all still there, technically speaking. I think actually if you... No, I didn't leave them all the way in. But the tracks are still technically there. If the port ever needs to be rail served, there's just not really any practical use and or need now. I'm actually still debating whether this is going to be an active harbor, whether this is going to be in a closed harbor. I think I actually determined that this would be an active harbor. Though it's more or less, I believe, an overflow for the container port just up the way. But there's still some bulk shipping that goes on through here. The Trondheim Fire Department. What, Toby? Yep, you are a cat. I've known this all day. Known it for the whole damn day. I don't know what else I can do for you, Chief. But yeah, there'll be some fireboats kind of moored up down here. So, and of course, industry on the island is still very active. A lot of warehouses and such. There is a brewery. Where'd you go? But one of the nice or cool things about this island, I also have been working on actually getting the road textured and such. This is just one big roundabout, kind of a rotary area. But one thing I was working on was this little section over here that I needed to kind of figure out. Sorry, my cat is being a whore. What? You're a whore. Yep, run away. So I couldn't figure out any buildings that I wanted to go in here and such, and trying to get it was a nightmare. So instead what I did was this. I kind of plopped in a lot of smaller buildings kind of around this one larger building. Excuse me. Just made it kind of very interesting to look at. Of course, there's not a lot of detail right now, and but it's just very tight, very narrow. A lot of kind of, this is actually a road. It goes up towards the back here. There's a small, I guess it's a store, a Franprix. That was Franprix, but actually I figure if it's French, that'd be Prix, so Franprix. So on and so forth. There's a couple of shops here. There's a bar over here. So on and so forth. Just something unique, a unique little section of the island. The island within an island within an island, I guess. So just old infrastructure crammed up, you know, kind of taking shades of inspiration from Portland, kind of these very narrow back streets that some of them have just been kind of turned into walking areas with these kind of very narrow backways. This here's a fire station. It was commissioned in 1899. This has a backstory because these bays are very small. I think I put some of the MOW pickup trucks up against it, and it was very tight for those. So, but this is still an active duty fire station, even though Station 2, Harbor House, is over there. This is Station 11, or, well, whatever, I'll dub it once I kind of have to dub other stations as well. But technically speaking, for the moment, this is Station 11. Its nickname is Traditions. This is basically a EMS station. There is one ambulance and one squad car, or squad truck based here for EMS calls. Just because I was thinking about it, and there's not a lot of ambulances in the city owned by the fire department, so we kind of needed to change that. That's kind of cool. Looking at the different levels, you know, you have the road kind of curving up, you get the bridge there, the wall with the city, and you know, then you have the areas built up behind it. Of course, you have the rail line. That's kind of a cool little scene, looking at all the different levels of the city. That's, I don't know, that's kind of neat. That's very cool. I like that. Out of the driveway for this fire department, I don't really think I've done too much else. Just basic work here, there, and everywhere. I kind of redid the street textures also through downtown. Give it a better look. Did some tree population back here, some pathways around the college campus. I don't think I've done a whole lot else. I don't really see anything else I've done. I think I was working out this way at one point between last stream and this stream. Yeah, I was doing this. Really haven't been out here too much, but anyways, enough rambling on. Or at least if I'm going to ramble on, I should go back to the harbor before my computer crashes. So, we are going to need to work on this rail line a little bit. We do have a small yard here for the harbor, just because there's a lot that goes on at the harbor, so it needs to be somewhere to put all the rail cars. It's going to be a very basic yard, all just flat switching, just car storage, basically. There'll be some arrival departure tracks, nothing too major or huge, but it is going to be kind of the backbone of this town on this side. The residential will kind of push up along this way, alongside the rail yard. So that's something I'll need to work on. But it does kind of present with this rail yard here, it presents an interesting, scenario for the town, considering the end of the yard's right here, and if you have to flat switch it, you know, either you got to switch from one end or you got to pull stuff out onto the street. So it kind of presents a interesting issue for the community. I'm also gonna eliminate a couple of street lamps through here. There, I think that looks better. Alright, so we move on. I should actually do something productive. So what are we doing over here? I think last time I was working on this tank car loading area and getting just the cars, or the basic track work put in for the cars. This is all fuel loading. This is all like I said, gasoline, diesel, home heating oil. Home heating oil is still largely used in Kaldvann. What? Don't you have something to do, Toby? Don't you have mice to go murder? You have been meowing at me all day. I fed you, I pet you, I play with you. No, you're not used to me being home so much, are you? Yeah, you mean well. I know you do. I do love my cat. Don't get me wrong, but he can get on my nerves. Like, I'm sure if he could speak, I'd get on his nerves. What would I do without him, though? So one thing that I noticed, because like I said, I had to ask Felix for some photos from his route, just kind of for some inspiration, was his harbor was very cluttered and dirty and just stuff everywhere. And I don't want to copy it one for one because that's just not cool. But one thing I want to do with this harbor is actually fairly new, at least in its infrastructure. Um, I want to have elements that still show the old, but this harbor has been built back up, revamped, especially as the country has developed and things have shifted. Um, so I kind of want to not have shit kind of laying all around this harbor. Not a lot of elements of the old infrastructure in some areas. Kind of might be more over towards this way because this bulk loading area probably remain the same as you push towards the container port. Probably the track work is still kind of there, but like I said, a lot of this harbor is fairly new, at least in the last 30 or so years. Um, so I don't want to have a lot of the elements that he has. I might try and avoid. The hell kind of signal is this? That is interesting. It's a weird signal. Huh. Where the hell did I get these? What the hell? Kind of nice models. I just don't have any idea where I would have got them from. It's kind of interesting. Is it just a switch? That's interesting. I wish there was a manual to set those up. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Sorry, I'm just looking at assets that I didn't know I had. Some nice bumpers in at the end of the tracks. So each area will kind of have its own. Like this will be for tank car storage. Not to overburden the yard and so on and so forth. But think it is important to have a yard that's able to facilitate this area. Now, one thing I have been kind of trying to figure out is that what railroad is going to service this area. You know, is there going to be a railroad that kind of owns that rail yard? Because um, the railroad itself is owned by the government. Well, the tracks, anyways. Of course, there is the Kaldvann National Railway, which is, you know, the kind of the government-backed rail line. So, you know, we kind of have the nationalized railroad that's ran by the government that runs all over the place, but there can be other companies that do other things that all operate on the same tracks. You know, they go to, you know, their own respective yards or industries and so on and so forth. But the big thing is would this harbor be operated by somebody else? You know, would there be a company with their own locomotives that operates all this? Because I mean, you know, the Kaldvann National could most certainly operate here, you know, with their locomotives, but I think it would add an interesting element to have another railroad down here. You know, just a thought I had. Whether that's a good idea or not is yet to be foreseen, but, you know, just kind of for whenever people maybe get around to watching this. Actually, something else I'm thinking about. If the rail yard, let's just say a train is pulling, the other industries kind of get away with it because the train has to kind of loop around and come back in. But for this industry, I think what we're going to have to do is have the train be a line that kind of comes up this way. And I think they're going to have to back in to here. So this is going to be, I think these tracks are going to have to point out this way. And then the train will back in. I think that's how that's going to work. So how is that going to work? Now, actually, let's maybe drag this over a little more. So I already had to work with this just a little bit. This has to jog here and then make the nice sharp kind of curve around to start coming in over towards here. Which ideally I'd like this to curve back up and connect in with this track right here, which I think it could. In theory it could. Of course, my next problem is what the hell am I going to do with this highway? Let's see, I need a... Where's my ruler? Wait, no, curve. That's too big. Yeah, it's gonna be a little too big of a curve. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. Let's see. 100 meter. That's gonna be. That might be a little too tight. Maybe, yeah, just do a 200. Delete that. See how that looks. doesn't look too bad. So I guess what I'll do is I'll take a track here. And now what I'll do... yeah, that should be fine. Then I think, yeah, unfortunately, it's going to have to kind of, well, it doesn't have to follow the grid, so. Yeah, so we'll take that there. Kind of drag it over. Alright, now we have to fix up the track here. Which I'll have to, I think, put something in there. That's gonna mess this up. Well, then I need to fix this side. Let me see. I can drag this. Yeah, it's not half bad. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna mute desktop audio. I'm gonna pull up iTunes. I'm gonna turn this down slightly. I think I'm gonna listen to some music while I Alright, so just try to get something going on in the background just so I can not sit here in silence. Maybe not this song, because I'm gonna probably start bopping along with it. Alright, so that is the base layout for that corner, which that corner should be more than fine to come in. Now, interesting thing is you know, of course, there's warehouses here in the middle, trying to back box cars up to the facilities and such. This would be an interesting area to build in, especially kind of alongside the curve, and even kind of along through here. Actually, I suppose that's one thing I could do, is put a Y. Not is that really needed, though. Well, I always can if I need to. I can always put a Y if I really need to. Alright, so let's see. So this track is going to have to curve this way, and I just curved this the wrong way. Actually, a bit of a violent corner. Move it there, because I kind of want to move this a little closer, not leave this to be be that flat, and my foot freaking hurts. Oh my god. Ah, it hurts. God. Ah. I think what was funnier was my windows were open, and not that my neighbor's house is close to mine, but um, the bedroom I'm in now is at the back of the house on the corner, and of course next to the tree line um, along the back wall. Like the window faces towards the backyard, and then if I'm looking out that window to my left, there's like a small kind of grass path beside my house, maybe about 8 or 9 feet wide, and then there's a tree line. Then my neighbor's driveway, and I think my neighbor's out in this driveway, and of course I dropped the. That's gonna be too sharp. Just move that over here. I'm swearing up a storm because it fucking hurt. And I hear my neighbor shout from across the way. He's like, "You good over there?" I guess he heard me swearing up a storm and such, and had to yell back, "Yeah, just dropped a big DVD player on my foot in the next room." I said, "Oh, I thought you were getting beat up." I said, "Nope, well, yes, but no. Just beating up myself." I don't really like that big of a switch. I don't know if that's inherently an issue, but of course this area I can use here for loading up trucks and such. And like I said, these fuel tanks, they won't be the only ones. I do want more fuel tanks kind of in the area. That's the problem I have to face now, is how the hell am I going to get those tracks over here? Building this super long ladder, so let's see here. Kind of give it the Joe approach. That should be fine. I don't think Sean would inherently shoot me over that. I mean, they gotta be tight, but Oh, those tracks aren't even connected. That's cute. Hmm. I can already hear Sean yelling at me over these damn switches. I mean, I could pull this one down more, which would in theory give me more room for this one. Loosely using the term theory. Unintentionally gave it that kind of crooked look. I'll stick with that. Let's see. I'm actually gonna bring that back a little more, see if that helps a cause anywhere. Nope, I still feel like Sean's gonna shoot me. Yeah, I feel like Sean's just gonna shoot me regardless about those, like, I think for just cohesive sake, I'm just gonna bring this one. Yeah, that'll be fine. Hmm. I feel like maybe if I came at it just a little shallower, wouldn't be that bad. Alright. I hate to do it to y'all, but I'm gonna redo this real quick. I think, yeah, if I come at it from a much shallower angle. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, that looks a little better. Get rid of these fucking switches though. Swap those out. Alright, so There, I think those turnouts are a little better. Not as ridiculous. I don't think. Sean will probably still kill me, though. Ladders aren't my strong suit. Anything really yard-like, just not the best at, so I think I've done, like, a good yard. I've done a singular good yard. Yeah, I think this will do for now. To be perfect. Well, I wonder if I could curve that. Let me see real quick. Oh. The fuck? Why? Yeah, I don't have any questions this time. That's an interesting bug. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I wonder if I put one here. Why I'm doing this, I don't know. Oh, that's on a switch. Yeah, I suppose this is very harbor-like. So, I don't know if that track would actually need to be there. Just because, you can reverse it and do all that stuff. This might be redundant. I might get rid of that. I think it'd actually be wise to get rid of that. Because that just seems like a redundant track. Cool in theory, make some interesting maneuvers, but might be redundant. Again, this port is a little newer. Except in the last 30 years, so I don't think that's necessarily needed. Now let's see, average funnel flow. Longest track we have is this one. Probably should throw some switches in here. Sorry, I'm just noticing the switches here are a little close together in terms of the frogs. Yeah. So just trying to extend those out just a little bit just to make some room. So it's gonna be tight. I don't know if I have any way to mitigate that or get around it. So it's gotta be kind of something that just put up with at this point. I'm not too concerned about it, so I mean, it is what it is. Oh, no, I don't want walk-in mode. Oh, where the hell am I going? So an adequate length of track for this would be about that, honestly. So that could probably fit about, let's see, the switch. And in terms of engines, let's just say there were 2 engines pulling. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, perfect. More than enough length to get the job done. Alright, so I will delete that. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think that a different company will own and operate the harbor. I think I like that idea too much to pass up on that, so... Oh, shit, I wanted that. So I think that's what will end up happening. Alright, so that'd be for trucks. They can come and get filled in here. Actually, I think I'm going to do it more like how it was at the airport. Of course, you have your tanks here. Switch the song real quick. I play the music for you guys. I'm not sure if you can hear any of it coming through. I'll find out. I'll get a ding on this video. Ugh. But we had, you pull the fuel truck up, and you connect a hose, whatever, ground the truck, and then just pull from a tank. I think I'm going to do something kind of like that. So let me see here. So I want, let me see, fuel. Let's see what we have that we can do. Shit, if I would have known that exists, I would have just used these. Ah, crap. My foot is throbbing. Let me see. Pump. I knew I was going to get a lot of those. Ooh, I can't spell. There we go. Let me see. I thought this was different. Let me give me a minute to think here. What do I want to do? Actually, yeah. So let me get the dairy factory pump shed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plop it here. I'm gonna plop it right here. Alright, actually I'm gonna want a canopy. I think I'll just go with... Alright, let me go with a small little office. Actually, I'm gonna go with JR Crew. I think it's like a little... Yeah, I don't need anything too fancy. Move this over to here. So what I'm going to say is, it was like I said, there was a big hose and then a series of pumps that came off the, you know, you could switch the pump 1, 2, or 3, and then you'd switch the tanks and so on and so forth. So I think what's going to happen here, just for the sake of this, so you have this little shed here, which, yeah, I think it's fine. So you open the cabinet doors. It's pretty decently sized, actually. Let's just say there's a reel right here with the hose. You hook it up to your truck. Then you can, little computer here, whatever guy comes out, this is where the workers work, so on and so forth. They hook up to your truck, whatever, and then they pump from here into your truck, and then pulls from whatever tank and fills the semi. So I wonder if I can do concrete. Yes, I was gonna say I thought they had something like this. So one thing that I want to do is lower this down just a little bit. Say raise it up just enough. Move that to here. Like I said, it's these stupid little details that I want for this in particular. So what I want here is I want just a raised concrete pad. Now in theory it would be just ever so slightly sloped into the middle. And there'd be a collection drain, which... yep, there's one. In theory it's kind of small, so there might be two. And also I'm going to have to raise this up just a touch. Let me see if that works. Yep. As off kilter, and it's gonna bother me up to no end. So I'll just do that real quick. So yeah, in coordination with the Environmental Protection Agency, or whatever it's called here in Kaldvann. There's a collection drain there, which is purely, I mean, this one's purely used for the collection of any spilled chemical, which is also kind of why there's a canopy here, just to kind of help keep the elements away, just kind of prevent the chemical, the issues of water in theory. So that's kind of why that's covered up. I guess I'm just gonna grab a concrete slab. Use that for the area next to it. I'm gonna do probably a 15. Yeah, 15 will probably work well. Just kind of use that as like the curb area, more or less. So that will be the beginning of this little area. Didn't I have a little overhead? I thought I did. Let's see, liquid. I also want just an overhead kind of ability to load. Wish I could just do it without the canopy though. If I could do it without the canopy, that'd be a lot better. Beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. I just don't really think it's gonna work too well. Yeah, let me see. Ah, here we are. Perfect. Let's say I haven't. Hold on. And the question is, do I put it on this side or do I put it on the other side? I think I'm gonna put it on the other side. No, I'm not, because the light's gonna poke out. So I'll keep it over here. There. So that should work. I just, like I said, I want that overhead just on, as a backup, just in case they have to load over the top of a truck, because that's always a possibility. So it's always a possibility that a truck might have to be loaded over the top, just in case a safety feature, the pre-check fails, which is a system on the truck that is basically there to prevent the truck from overfilling and then overflowing. At least we had those on our trucks. I assume that most commercial trucks that deal with loading chemicals has that system. I could be wrong. I don't know, but in this scenario, I'm just assuming. So that'll be the loading area for gasoline trucks. That would be nice. Just a little area, nothing huge, nothing fancy. It'll be at least one of a few. Although I suppose I could put another, because we are dealing with a good chunk of the country here. So I think actually I'm gonna space it out. And get another canopy. It's not quite as long as I need. There. So we'll do the same kind of dealio over here. Well, I will back this up then, just to kind of keep it cohesive. Except I will have the box for the pump on the same side, opposed to over there where it's on the opposite. We'll get another drain to put over there. There. Actually fits everything just perfectly. Huh. Quite nice. Oh, actually, yeah, that works perfectly. I'm actually impressed. All right. So yeah, that'd be a little area to load up the trucks. So, as I've said like 19 times now. All right, cool. So the trucks will probably come in. They can stage over here and so on. Now a lot of the piping is all kind of worked out underground. Let me see. I think Logan had something. I'll probably add more detail later on. So, next thing, what do I want through here? Let's see. We'll type in processing. I guess I said that. Actually, one thing I want to do is I'd like to save what little work I've actually done here in the last few hours. It is still saving. There we go. Alright. So, I don't see a lot of processing. I wonder. The download station. Processing. No, it's assessing. Alright, let's see. Ethanol plant, processing center. Yeah, no, don't need to do that. Crushed stone processing. Good. Yeah, not really a lot in terms of processing. I think I'll go JR. Let's see what they got. It's a nice little background building. I will keep that for something when I'll move it over here. I'm looking for... Let me see. I want to look at fish processing plant. Let's see. So they're not very big buildings. I mean, they can be, but they're basically just warehouses. So I think actually Joe, he might have something. So let's see. That's Audi. That's not Joe. There it is. Brownstone Industrial. That could work. Ooh, I like this building. You know, and actually I was noticing, I think SAP, I think he, yeah, these honestly look like also SAP buildings. Because I know he did, ooh, I like that. I gotta keep that. I gotta use that over towards the, over towards here. I know he uploaded some industrial buildings, and some of them I know look a lot like the ones Joe made. And honestly, like, I know Joe kind of just bought the asset or something, and... Ooh, that could actually be a small processing facility. Or that could be something. I don't know. I want more, definitely more like a warehouse. I can't English today. I probably should be getting ready for bed here soon so I can go to work. I kind of like that. Especially the curved, just because I could use that for for the area. Like, all these are good. I really should just keep these around. Yeah, so nothing in particular. Manufacturing building. I mean, that kind of fits the gist, but not exactly what I'm looking for. I also saw factory. Yeah, no, I'm all set. Mm. Yeah. Alright, let me see warehouse real quick. Maybe I can bring me up something a little more along the lines of what I need. Of course, this one's always hit or miss. If it had just a little more to it, of course I could add more. There's always the build a facility tools. I just really rather not. Kind of getting to that point now where I'm starting to drag. Definitely gonna wrap this up here soonish. Yeah, that's getting to where I want to be. Actually, it's kind of what I'm going for here. Alright, so actually, what I want to do here, let me actually just check out our mods and see if they didn't have any other warehouses available. Freeware, buildings, change the song. Give me. Bear with me for a second. I don't think I missed it. gamers told me that RR mods is harmful and I should not download from it. I beg to differ. I probably should delete all those racetracks. Well, that's installing. Let's see here. So what we need is like the actual kind of... I mean, I guess this would be more the main facility. Because there's like the office, the main facility, then there's like obviously the cold storage portion. That's a big warehouse. Shit, look at that. That's a big old warehouse. Clark. No one can about these words you tell. Alright, so I think I'll kit bash a little bit here. So I want this warehouse... I can actually kind of have it off kilter. Actually, I need to pull back that up, or pull that back up. Let's see, first processing. So honestly, a building like this could work. Oh, that'd be a little more helpful. Sorry, I'm looking at photos. Oh, it's Toby. Being a cat. Look at him go. Yeah, look at you go. Oh, he flopped. Alright, so we're gonna pet him real quick. What are you gonna do, huh? Oh, you're gonna be a cat. Alright, you be a cat. So yeah, so honestly, this building can work altogether. Looks like there's rail serve capability off the back. I'm gonna just test that real quick. See if that's actually possible. I definitely don't know what tracks those were. I might go ahead and just slap another building on the back side of this. Because I just kind of like to have my own rail serve. So in theory, I mean, did have to ramp up just a little bit, but yeah. But still, I kind of want my own design, just because I don't want the whole building to have rail serve. Just kind of a personal preference at this point. So let me see here. Something that could match and or fit. Yeah, I appreciate the pre-added loading dock, but I also just want my own. This is just too hard to ask for. I guess so. Ooh, actually, I kind of like this building. Too many loading docks on the front side, but I suppose that'll do. Although, that'll work for somewhere else. Ooh, perfect. I just hope that doesn't. Yep. Okay. Okay, hold on. I see that. I see you. Perfect. That will work just fine, except for that. This will work much better. The colors are close. I could say this was the old building, and this is the new building they built alongside of it, so... So we'll go ahead and we will put tracks in behind it. This just works much better. Actually, completely random. I was just thinking I have to go to bed, go to work tomorrow, and all that stuff. And I was thinking yesterday, or well, Tuesday. It's kind of crazy. I mean, nothing insane happened, but like a lot of people who I went to school with like came into the rooster, and it was kind of, I wouldn't say, I don't know if weird's the right word, but like I definitely I didn't really talk to any of them. Just because like there weren't people that I really talked to in high school. It's like all girls. Like I didn't see one. Like I rarely, if ever, see any guys I went to high school. I went with, or were friends with back then. But like I was sitting there, and there was one girl that I did talk to, but she walked in with her. I think it was her mother. I assume it was her mother. Um, and I saw her. I'm like, oh God, I know her. I'm looking at her. I'm like, all right, I know her from somewhere. Like, where the hell do I know her from? Like, obviously it's school, but like, I couldn't remember her name. I'm like, ah, shit, and I'm like, I don't want to go up to her because that happened to me last week. There was someone that came in and they looked familiar, and I thought it was someone that my mom was related to. I thought it was someone on her side of the family. Or at least someone that she was friends with or something like that. And I asked, oh, do you know my mother? And the woman just kind of looked at me. She's like, no, I never heard of her. I'm like, oh, well, this is awkward now. I mean, like, doesn't hurt to ask, but at the same point, it's just like, yeah, okay, well, now we're just here. But so, like, I didn't want to go over and such, and I'm like, I don't really, I just, I don't want to go over and ask him that question. Hey, how do I know you? Like, what's your name and stuff? Just because also, like, it's a pretty girl, and well, I'm not good with girls, so um, so finally, like, I'm rolling silverware. We're trying to like get a game plan going for the night because the night was crazy. One of the cooks, the kitchen was fucking miserable all night. Like they were, you know, one like you put special requests on a ticket, like hey, I need extra side of this, or like, hey, I need this out first, or something like that. Just general requests for a table. Um, and they just weren't reading them all night. Like every request that I put on, it seemed like they just weren't getting it. The kitchen was just, it was a bad night for the kitchen. Um, I think Toby sees something. Um, but anyway, so like, so finally the night's moving along and stuff, and like I said, I'm rolling silverware, and this table they're getting ready to go, and it's like, I know this girl. I'm like, again, I don't want to ask, just because I'm not gonna ask. So finally the girl, she walks by the table and say goodbye, and I just off a whim I pointed her and said, "What's your name?" And she goes, or I no, how did I say? I said, your name's Sam, right? She goes, yeah, yeah. I was just, she's like, I was just talking to my mom about you and stuff like that, and because we were in the same class. I'm like, yeah, Mrs. Dubrovnik's math class, and she goes, yep. So we had to talk in and stuff, and asked her how she had been. She asked how I was doing. She's like, didn't you like fly halfway around the world to meet some girl? I'm like, no, but I flew halfway across the country to St. Louis. And her mom started laughing. I'm like, yeah, halfway across the world, halfway across the country, same thing. St. Louis is weird. Toby, I know, buddy. It's getting close to bedtime, and you probably want me to turn on the sink. You weird cat. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. I don't know why I thought of it. Maybe it's the song I'm listening to. Um, but yeah, it's like halfway across the country, halfway around the world. No, I wish, but no. But I definitely did fly halfway across the country for some girl, um, which I can most certainly say I will never do again. Like that's definitely one thing that I've not learned, but yeah, kind of learned, but definitely one thing that I will never, ever, ever do again is move for a girl. Um, it was just a long conversation, but um, it's like one thing that's also kind of weird about my job is that I do work with like a lot of teenagers or kids just getting ready to graduate high school and stuff, and like they're just getting ready to like step out into the world, and listening to them talk and go on about like the things going on in their lives. It's like I hear like a lot of me. Like there are times where it's like the things they say and the things they do. It's like I, I obviously remember being in their shoes because I obviously went to school at one point. Um, but sitting there and listening to them talk and go on about these things and like their ambitions and the things they want to do, and like they want to move out and they want to like go far, and like some of them have like significant others that they want to move in with, and um, it's like I can't help but feel like it's like I have all this wisdom and knowledge and experience of what not to do, and I'm sitting there and listening to them talk and go on about these things, and it's like, you know, I just want to scream at them like, don't do it. For the love of God, don't do it. Like, do not move in with, some girl, or don't move in with some guy. Like, stay on your own. Like, definitely wait. Like, it's not worth it. And if it goes south or ends horribly and stuff like that, like now you're far away from home or you're stuck in a place, or just be very careful, like especially whereas they're so young, and like statistics say, like my stepdad, he was always big to throw statistics in my face about, you know, relationships at such a young age and getting married and all that shit. And it's like I know what he was trying to say, and like I know inherently he's not wrong. I still hated listening to it. It's like I'm trying to enjoy my life at the time, and here's this guy just throwing facts in my face. It's like I don't need these. I don't want them. But it's like sorry, I was just trying to think like what do I want to do with this asset, um, because they're close to the port and it's like the processing plant. I don't know if they'd have their own water supply. Although, given it's an older facility, maybe it would. But anyways, but like he was always very quick to throw statistics in my face and facts and young relationship this, young marriage that, da 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 da, and it's like I understood what he was saying. I just hated hearing it all the time, just because it didn't really serve me well until well, then it ended and stuff, and I was like, oh well, maybe this is useful for me. Um, but it's just it's funny listening to these kids go on about what they're gonna do and places they want to go and all this other shit, and it's like I think I work with a girl, Mackenzie, and Sophia. Sophia, I work with on Mondays, and then they work with both of them on Tuesdays. Then I have Mackenzie on Thursdays, along with another girl, Ella. And I think all three of them are actually getting ready to graduate. I know the cook, Colby, who's dating Sophia, he's getting ready to graduate too in like the next few weeks. And I was like, that's it. Then it's like, this is their kind of their last summer of freedom. Um, and it got me thinking again, and it's like, about all the shit I did or shit I didn't do and all this other crap, and it's like, man, that last summer before I moved away, and like that was such a weird time. And it's like I hear them say like, "Oh man, I gotta work this summer and all this crap," and and I'm sitting there thinking about myself, and it's like that's all I did that last summer before I moved away to St. Louis was I worked, and I mean partly because I was saving, because I was trying to move away, as I keep saying, but it's like I seriously regret not taking more time just to be free or like just do things. Like I was stuck in a kitchen all that summer, and I worked my tail off. I was pulling like 48, 50-hour weeks and stuff, and um, and it was great. I made great money. Just I think I was only earning like $8 an hour. Just so hard to think like $8 an hour with a few bills, like I was okay. And then moving to Illinois and making $7.50, I was doing all right. And then even earning $12 an hour at Southwest, I was living. Even $16 an hour, I was doing fantastic. And now it's like here recently, I was working two jobs, both $17 an hour, and I couldn't afford to live. It's kind of funny now that I say that out loud. Um, Filling myself with existential dread, but point being, but it's like I tell them, just take the summer, just yeah, it's important to work, but like don't stress yourself out. Like I know you got to save for college and stuff, but like don't feel like that you have to rush into this. Like I gotta cut that bush outside. Holy shit. Ugh. I'm gonna do yard work Friday now. Sorry, I was looking at the ADD or something, but I looked out the window and I noticed the bush is just huge. But sorry, I'm also looking for like tanks that I could put alongside here. Actually, you know what? I know. No. Definitely don't need something that big. Anyways, but I don't feel like you have to rush right into it. And it's like, it is important to go get into higher education if that's what they so wish to do, or go into their desired trade and stuff. But like, I just and I guess like I'm getting ready to also like have to deal with this with my brother because next year my brother graduates high school, which I haven't even begun to think about at this point because I can't fucking believe that little shit's gonna graduate. Um, but I think about these things and well, I get sad, you know, and I feel like well, maybe if I had taken more time to actually just kind of smell the roses real quick and not been so quick to run off and go to work and or maybe if I had kind of just taken a little more time for me and not devoted it all to Hannah, uh, I wouldn't feel so bad because I kind of missed out. Like my mom used to get so mad at me all through that summer. Of course, she was up to camp the whole summer. I didn't see her at all, but I'd get off work at Wendy's real late at night, like so late at night. Uh, and after being in a hot kitchen all day during the summertime, and it's really nice out, I'd park my car on Main Street in Saco, where I live, and 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd walk up Main Street and I'd just walk around town. And my ex would get so pissed at me, and my mom would get so pissed at me because like, oh, you're gonna get hurt. Why are you doing that? That's not safe. Da 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 da. And it's like, we live in Maine, first of all. Um, Secondly, like I'm not too concerned. I did carry a knife at that time, like a big knife. And I mean, bring a knife to a gunfight, you're screwed. But I mean, I wasn't totally just like unprotected and such. Um, but like that was kind of like my last chance to kind of just be outdoors, doing something I wanted to do and just not having to care. And I kind of look back on that kind of fondly, actually. I look back on that very fondly. Being able to walk around town and kind of take in my home. What, Toby? No, just go do something. Been up my ass all day. Cat for sale. I pay you. You take him. No, quit meowing at me. We're done meowing for attention. I've created a monster. That's one thing that drives me crazy is when he meows for attention. Like, I know he's just a cat, but and of course I don't through COVID and stuff like that, spending time with him, he'd meow. I pet him. When I first got him, it's like he comes home and adjusting in. It's like he'd meow. I'd go find out what he wants and I'd pet him. But now it's like, doesn't matter whatever I'm doing. He meows. He expects me to pet him, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, I love my cat to pieces, but like, most cats I've had usually keep to themselves. They like their affection and stuff like that, but usually speaking, if you're just kind of there relaxing or not really doing a whole hell of a lot, they aren't doing a whole hell of a lot. Toby, on the other hand, he's the odd one. He always seems to want attention, and that's fine. Cats, that's what I like about cats, is each one is just so full of it's different personality. Never really met two cats that are the same. But Toby Kitty is he is something. He's a funny little critter. Um, just trying to create like a little like waste catch bin, just to purify the water. I don't know, just something, just visual clutter alongside the facility. Putting some tanks alongside here. Don't really know what they're used for, but every picture I see of a fish processing warehouse that I just looked up, there were some sort of tanks alongside of it. I'm gonna move this off the tracks. I am gonna start wrapping this up here because I should be getting to bed here relatively shortly. I do want to use this in some capacity. The interesting part that we'll have to deal with is the roads that will all go through this port area. Because there's going to be a huge mess of them. Yes, just that was kind of my little spiel there about the kids I work with. It's like, they're just getting ready to turn 18, and they're about 7, 8 years younger than me and stuff like that, and I don't know, just listening to them go on, it just kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And these poor kids are just about ready to step out into the world, and A, it ain't doing too well, but B, it's like, that was, that last summer before I moved, I wish I'd done so much more, and I can't take it back. If I had stayed here longer, who knows what opportunities I would have missed out on. I was in love at that time, so was very eager to go, and I went, and yeah, nothing in the world was gonna stop me. but I always wish I'd just taken a little more time. A little more time for me. A little more time just to stay and just stay. Like I don't really know why or what I would have done, but that is the one of the few things I wish I'd done in my life was at least stick around Maine a little longer, not rush right off to Illinois. But can't change it, can't take it back. It's ancient history at this point, and it's like I moved away when I turned 19, and now I'm 20, 25, pushing 26. And like that seems forever ago. It seems so long ago. Like even talking about high school and running into these people that I used to see every single day. I used to see these people every single day. Some of them I saw longer than others, but for the most part, it's like I saw these kids every day of my life for X amount of years. And seeing them now, it's like, wow. The years have been kind to some, the others not so much. It is nice to know that some of them still remember me and recognize me. I like to think I haven't changed too much, but oh, excuse me. I'm trying to think, what exactly is this area? Like, I know it's rail served, so assuming the logs get piled up here, is this just a log yard? Like, is there any saw? Like, was I intending this for being a sawmill, or what was I intending with this? Like, I don't really think I thought this through. Ah. Boo. Yeah, let's relaunch, see how much crap I lost. Now I was just thinking, man, I've gone a whole stream without it crashing. And then it crashed. Yeah, let's see. Wow, performance up the yin yang. Alright, so the tanks are there. I think the only thing that needs to be done... No, this is all lowered. Well, my engine's back over here now, so... Huh. I'm feeling like this port is going to need a few entrances. Just given its size. Because originally it was just a little container port. So I'm like, alright, fine, this entrance should be able to handle it. Now that I'm looking at it, not so much. Either that... Plus, like, I am looking at the port layout, and... Also, like, this whole mess. Now, granted, this is just a B highway, so this is a grandfathered in section, because predominantly B highways don't have... wow, it still says Port of Castine. Ha! That's funny. Back when this was actually Castine. That's actually really funny. I'm sorry, there's 18,000 people in Castine. I mean, maybe a few thousand once they get this area built up a little more. Although, actually, while I'm sitting here, I probably should just go ahead and save it just so we don't lose any of the edits. Alright, I do need to use the restroom real quick, so... Let me go ahead and... give you all a view if I can get it to settle down. I'll go ahead and crank this way up. And then we'll just do... atomic explosion. There. Alright, so I'll leave you with that. I'm going to hit the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty, sorry about that. Alright, so I'll probably go for another... Oops, not what I wanted. Another 20 or so minutes. We'll probably start wrapping up from here. Yeah, I love the terrain from here. You know, adding that little hill right there and putting that radar tower for the ships. But looking at the terrain all around, like just looking out across the way towards the mainland. I mean, what a spectacular sight. And I don't know how much of that I'm going to retain on the backside here. I mean, obviously, the airport's around, so any terrain features need to remain kind of small. So actually, I imagine from here there'll be a pretty nice view of the island. But like this right here is pretty much going to remain like undisturbed. But like that is just stunning. That is beautiful terrain. I mean that is gorgeous. I mean that is I know it's just a game, like, but you know, but this is a real part of the world. You know, that's Iceland. You know, and it'd be just so cool to go there and see all this and be like, you know, hey, I've seen this before. You know, I just love looking out in the distance and seeing these mountains and cliffs and stuff. And I don't think they're too far apart. Let's see, so 1, 2, it's about 2.5 miles. This is about a 2.5 mile gap. So I mean, sitting from over here, this is about maybe 3 miles, or you know, 2.5, whatever this would happen to be in meters. Of course, I need to update my tree set, but it's just that is lovely. So let me show you what's going on elsewhere. I think I might have already shown it here. No, it's over here. Yep. Of course, I need to get that side of the island tapered off. So I started just to lay a footprint, or get some buildings put in for the community of Narvik. Probably gonna downsize it just a little bit. Maybe, you know, make tallest. I might get rid of that gray building in the back, and this building also will probably go. I don't know. I don't want anything too huge. Maybe some older textile buildings will be kind of the norm. I was thinking of actually copying the layout for my town that I live in currently, or taking some heavy inspiration from it and kind of utilizing it. You know, Biddeford and Saco on both sides here. Just thought, just, you know, kind of do something for my home. And then on this side, what do these mountains look like? I'm sure these probably look pretty cool. Oh, those are very nice. Ooh, I like that. Wow. If only these mountains weren't so shitty, I would love to get some trains up them. Although still, railroading down here in the valley is going to be pretty fun. It's a nice big lake. Does this valley come all the way out? Yeah, because there's a river here, so. course, I was working on Castine. My water has gone away. Working on this little port area. Stupid little island that sits out here. They have a little lighthouse. I don't know if I'll keep this lighthouse. I might change that. Might just put like something smaller, but I was thinking just putting some rocks and some trees there, but not too much has changed over here. Yeah, I'm still slowly, ever so slowly, deathly slow, plucking away at Castine itself. I really just, the thing is like, I don't know how I want this community to look. Because there's old sections that I've talked about, like the old town, which has walls, but the town burnt down. The town was besieged at one point. Let's see. So the French Acadians arrived in 1713. The colony of Castine was fully established in 1714. It was deemed the French capital of the colony because there was a small kind of just a couple villages. 1779, it became the island became a technical joint Nordic Franco colony, so they had borders and such. British assault on the port of Castine again in 1718. 1781, the British laid siege on Castine. Let's see. Then there was the British Acadian War of 1804 1805. Then there was the Kaldvann and Franco Wars of 1811 1813. The technical First National War, which would have been the Second National War of 1813. Then the Second National War, which was technically the Third National War of 1815 through 1817. Port of Castine burns in 1841, which the old port would have been. I think the old port would have been somewhere in here. I think the old port was like right here. The new port, I think, I know I've set up like somewhere over here, or I want it to be somewhere over there. The technical border of the country, I think, is this river. Or no, it was this river right here. Yeah, it was this river. Which heads up to this lake. Which then the border would have gone just, I think, here. I think it would go directly out to the middle, and then they would have just split it between the two. And after that, the border would have just gone directly over to the coast. But yeah, this river right here would be the former colony border between the two. And then it would have just ran out to the middle of this channel and then just followed all the way out. Honestly, I wanted this to be the Port of Castine, just because it's already got a natural shelter. probably actually will end up becoming a port. It's funny looking at the overhead and just seeing kind of the farms dotted around. But yeah, not entirely sure what I'm going to end up doing with Castine. Although the world's my oyster, because it's like no terrain features whatsoever through here. This river, or well, this kind of canal doesn't really go too far. Kind of ends right up in here. Although I think I'm going to take some creative liberties and connect it all the way through to the port. Or this little cove of sorts over here. Kind of just create like a small little island of some kind. I do want like a small downtown with some modest high rises of sorts. I don't imagine the colony, or the capital here, will be too huge. I mean, what else do we have for buildings? It's a little too tall for my taste. I like that building. I'll keep that. I don't want it dense. I mean, Trondheim's not dense, but it is a little more built up. I do have to remember to put the French embassy down here. Alright, better question is, do they have any sort of night lighting on these buildings? Some of them. Okay. Oh, they do light up. I don't want anything huge. Most everything I kind of want on the other side of this river. Kind of the old town will be through here, kind of smaller buildings. So taller, denser buildings I kind of want. Is that like a hill? Or no, it's just a weird patch. I was gonna say there's no real terrain features over here. But kind of the technical high rises I want kind of along here. Just, kind of keep them over here. This would be kind of a lot of just smaller, older buildings, parks, more or less the old town. So which I probably will actually just go ahead and preemptively move these onto the other side of the river. Which then also leads me to ask, what's the train height through here? 1. This needs to be down at 0. So I think before I get too sidetracked and before I let you all go, I'll probably just go ahead and make sure this is set to 5-meter grid. Alright, that's set. take most of this river and we'll end up getting some sort of wall along of it or something. It's not really a river per se, but the closest thing they're going to get to a river. And that's one way to create a river. So now we'll just go in and... Okay, so let me actually just go ahead and lower this just a little bit. We'll go -5. There. So we'll just lower this all down. That's one thing I just didn't think of, because I'm an idiot. There. So now we can crank this up and put the river in. So, of course, this being the French part of the island, this will have to be named something very French-like to fit their Frenchy needs. Of course, the train through here is not very high, so that could lead to some issues. Which is why they'll probably end up getting a flood wall, just so they can exist peacefully. You still just get a retaining wall alongside the waterfront, because this is not very high. Like, that's only a meter. else? Let me see here. Ouch. Yeah, like right up alongside the river, especially like right through here is all very lowland like. But say it comes down. And just plateaus at about a meter above sea level through here. So there is some terrain. Kind of funky how it all gradually comes up, but it's a very, very gradual step down. It actually doesn't look half bad. A little bit of water and put some buildings in. Doesn't look terrible. I know one thing's for certain, though. I do want one of the FMA bridges. It's going to be interesting building bridges along through here just because how low everything sits. It definitely work just because, you know, we can bridge up to it or we can raise it up. I think I'm going to want that high. What am I doing? Alright, let me just drag it past here. I just want to make sure it's straight. Maybe that's too wide of a road. A 4-lane avenue coming in. I think we should be fine. Actually, gonna end up moving this building just a touch. It doesn't sit very high. This is basically just New Orleans of the North. This is just Nordic New Orleans. Nordic Orleans. Oh, I hate that word. I'm never saying that again. North Orleans. One thing that I am going to have to figure out here is probably sand dunes. Just because this is low. You know, this is a whole meter above sea level. That is a solid meter. That is very, very, very low. And I think that's actually going to be something unique to write about in terms of their history, is dealing with the low terrain. You know, because the highest terrain here on this little island is 2 meters above sea level, which I forget how that translates to. Feet. Let me see. 2 meters, 2 feet. That's 6 feet. This is 6 whole feet above sea level. Whereas a meter, I think, is about 3.2 feet. So this is 3 feet above sea level. 3.2 feet. That's not good. Like, this is low. This is very, very low. And, 2 meters is a whole 6 feet above sea level. 3, well, it's probably going to be like 9 or so feet above sea level, maybe 10. Pushing maybe 12 feet now. This is 12 feet above sea level. This ain't good. This is very low. So I think this will be something interesting to talk about with this lowlands area, especially over here and these kind of lava plains. Is with it being so damn low, how do these issues impact Castine going forward? What will happen to Castine in terms of their progress and their growth, and how will the government of Kaldvann address these issues? Of course, global warming and stuff like that, you have to start considering these issues as, okay, well, what are we going to do? What will what will Kaldvann do to respond to these growing issues? And that'll be I guess the fun part, more or less, is determining what the country does. And Castine's probably quote unquote prospered for so many years, but now that issues are starting to arise, what exactly is the country going to do? And this is going to be a big challenge for Kaldvann in particular, because previously the Nordic colonies, a lot of them didn't have to worry about this. Its major metropolitan centers are at least well above sea level anyways. But now that Castine is a part of Kaldvann, what's going to happen? So I think this will be something fun to tackle, and something interesting to talk about. So this is kind of how I'm starting this area, is kind of along this avenue, which will split off, and you'll have one road go this way and one road go that way. And actually, this road will kind of jog, and there'll be another bridge that comes across here, back into the old village. But I think also kind of chopping this off and making this something will allow me to start working on an area and kind of have a template. But yeah, just looking at it, realizing how low it is. Like, I knew it was low over here, but I didn't realize how low. That's just crazy. Actually, so I'm going to move this building. I'm going to put this right here on the corner. I'm going to put a smaller road. I'll put the smaller bridge in over here. Same deal, same height. $420, make a wish. So of course, this will be another one of my convoluted intersections. It goes off this way and this way. Be an interesting little plaza. Although, I need a church. And a big church wouldn't upset me at all. Actually, probably type in the word cathedral. It's probably what's going to end up down here. Yeah, my foot still hurts. It's gonna hurt for days. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. Ooh. So I'm gonna have to use that one. It's gonna be a few different cathedral-esque buildings. Cathedral. That's how you spell it. That's not how you spell it. Could have swore I had a nicer looking. Ah, this one. It's like miniature Notre Dame. It's actually like Notre Dame at home. That's all it is. So we will end up using this one. I think this is going to sit along the river. Actually, you know what? I think it should just sit over here between these two roads. So I'm going to angle it to face this road. But it'd be a nice kind of garden on the backside for the other road. I'm going to back it up some. Nice kind of plaza out front. This road's going to come this way. There'll be a road that branches off, maybe over to here. So I probably should allow this road to go through one way up, and then it'll branch off here. Yep, that feels great. So yeah, this will come up here. Kind of curve these buildings to kind of fit this funky intersection. See, I don't want to jam all the high-rises all right together. This building is probably going to actually come onto this side of the river. I want to put the older buildings over here. This area is definitely going to be very old, kind of flummery buildings. This church, I kind of want to be back up over here. I'll put it over here for now. Buildings. Didn't think I'd see any over here anytime soon. But, I think I'll do the steel bridge coming across. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Okay, that's fine. It's just so low. Oh my god. Yeah, I think this is probably about as much as I'm going to do for now. Need to focus on building from this area and then kind of connecting these two scenes and then building in between the two, because that's kind of how I worked with Trondheim. Was I started building a couple of scenes, and then I had like the train station, and then I had like one area built up, and then Rosenberg, kind of that plateaued area with the wall around it. So then eventually I just started working on getting the two scenes bridged together, and well, Trondheim eventually happened. So I think that's what we're gonna do here. Is we got the old town with the brick roads around what was the kind of, I guess, capital building, I suppose. I guess you could call it that. And then we're gonna have kind of the more modernized, upscale downtown. Um, I kind of have a rough idea of how I want the buildings to look. Um, some things might change, like this bridge might kind of maybe come a little more this way, which would then push this cathedral kind of more along the river. Which, if that's the case, then we might take the river and just kind of square it off with a wall. Um, that's one thing we can do. We could do. Um, so we just kind of have to wait and see at this point. I'm going to kind of take this C and flatten it out a little bit. just gonna lower this water out some more and. There, give some water for no reason why, because I love sticking to the plan for the day. It looks like it's just sitting on water. It's like there's no terrain features whatsoever. This area is so low. How deep is this water? It's deep enough for a ship. I get the slightest feeling it's not. No, but that ridge would definitely mess that boat up. Yeah, like this ship would, if it had more of a base. Yeah, this ship is running around. Yep. Oof. Yeah, that ran around. I'm getting too sidetracked. I need to go to bed. So, anyways, no, this was definitely a very impromptu stream. Definitely meant to come on earlier with the Carabasset, so next stream will be the Carabasset. I guess for future reference, I should just not say when I'm planning on streaming again. So, actually, before I go, I will just go ahead and move this road more over to this direction. There. Of course, I'll move that somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put this one, but we'll say, excuse me. So the port was here. There's a lot of houses that were through here. When the port burned, a lot of this burnt. It's kind of what I feel like is going to happen, is a lot of this ended up burning. Maybe I will dig this out more, and this will end up being the Port of Castine, or this was the former Port of Castine. It'll probably end up being a small fishing harbor now, but I'll say that this port formerly burnt in 1841, which subsequently burnt a lot of this side of the river. You know, the feeding winds were blowing in from the coast, so it pushed a lot of the fire this way and burnt a lot of the infrastructure on the north side of the river, which is why nowadays you see a lot of taller, newer buildings, because this area took a long time to rebuild. Kill a lot of people. Though I think this church would be one of the few surviving buildings, since it looks like it's made of stone or something. So this will probably sit somewhere over here. So, anyways, but I hope you guys do enjoy. Maybe next time we pop in, we will work on Castine, on getting it maybe set up a little bit. Start to figure some things out, and even maybe figure out where the train station's going to go for Castine. Because if we can get a train station in, we can start figuring out where things need to go. And so on and so forth. But anyways, guys, I do appreciate you for watching. Like I said, sorry for such a weird and very quiet stream on my end, but anyways, I will talk to you all in the next one. Take care.